Good morning, my friends. Should I try this again? Should probably try it again. Good morning, everyone. All right, I'm going to try it one more time. Everybody ready? On the count of three, I want to hear you say, "Good morning, Tyler." One, two, three. That was that was awesome. Thank you so much. Raise your hand if it is your first time here. Wow. Nice. All right, awesome. So now that you know my name, I'm going to go ahead and tell you who my co-organizers are. I've got John, I've got Caitlin, I've got Billy, Kyle, I've got Nicole, and where did Courtney go? Oh, Courtney's in the back. All right, everybody wave hi to them. Awesome. Before I have our expert panelists introduce themselves, could you please take out your phone and download the 1 Million Cups app? And if you have it already, go ahead and just check in so that way we can leave our presenters some feedback. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let our expert panelists introduce themselves after a few seconds.
Morning, my name is, Ina Montgomery. My company is Urban Tech. That's TEC, which is the acronym for Technology Empowered Communities. And I work with urban schools and communities on technology, 21st century technology. I do teacher integration with technology in the classroom with 2 school districts. And I do technology programs with youth. Again, introducing them to technology that I see in suburban school districts, but I don't see in urban schools. And so I do it as an after-school and weekend programming.
Morning. Jeff Shackelford, the director for the Digital Sandbox. We help early-stage entrepreneurs move from idea to hopefully MVP to commercialization. Shameless plug, companies like Hidden Abilities that you'll see, and I'm sure they would have thrown that in their presentation because they always do. So we help very early-stage folks get in business, create jobs in the Kansas City metropolitan area, and as far as St. Joe. So anybody that has a business idea, come see us.
Thank you guys for being here. All right, we have some awesome presenters today. First, we've got Jamie and Peyton with Hidden Abilities. Please give them a warm welcome to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. No one likes to see their child struggle. Imagine if your child struggled with one of the most common ways of learning. If letters on a page looked foreign, if it took them 3 times longer to finish a simple homework assignment. Imagine if your child had dyslexia. What would you do? I painted this picture because that child was me. I was not formally diagnosed until age 26, but I've struggled with reading my entire life. As a child, I developed a lot of little tricks to help avoid embarrassment. One was simply asking my mom for help. We would sit up at the kitchen table, and she'd read a couple pages to me, having me follow along, and then I would read one to her. The way Mom did this helped me out tremendously. I got to hear the words as I was looking at them, which helped with both my spelling and my comprehension. My first semester at KU, I was going through the diagnosis process and setting up accommodations for the very first time. It was a stressful moment in my life, and I found myself reminiscing about those late nights and early mornings with Mom. I was in class doing a homework assignment, wishing she was there, when it hit me. What if I had a device that did just what she had done? This is when the Read 'n Style pen was born. The Read 'n Style pen is a patent-pending electronic reading pen that instantly converts text to audio. That patent's thanks to Digital Sandbox. Now, to operate the Read 'n Style pen, you will gently tap the top-mounted button and slide the device across the text. As you slide that device across the text, the Bluetooth earbud will begin to discreetly speak the words to you with a smooth, easy-to-understand reading voice. Research says that as many as 1 in 5 people struggle with reading, and nearly 5% of school-age children are formally diagnosed with a reading-based learning disorder. As awareness of dyslexia grows, people are looking for solutions. So this is why our target consumer are parents of students who are struggling with reading in school. To validate this market, we ran a very successful crowdfunding campaign, pre-selling more than 430 units, raising nearly $140,000 for development. We do have several indirect competitors, such as audiobooks and text-to-speech softwares. These are great for digital sources, but do not offer a lot of help when it comes to a printed source. We have a few direct competitors that are big, bulky, draw a lot of unwanted attention to the user, are completely wired. One of them was actually developed in the mid-90s, and because of that outdated tech, it has very poor word recognition, and both feature very poor robotic-sounding voices that are no easier to understand than a dyslexic's own internal reading voice. Our team is strong and well-positioned to realize the full potential of this opportunity. We are comprised of 5 individuals executing the roles of CEO, COO, CTO, hardware specialist, and industrial designer. As the CEO, I have 32 years of experience with dyslexia. I know the Read and Style pen needs to be brought to life. And this is why we have a growing team that will not quit, a network who believes in us, and a market hungry for change. We do not plan to stop with the Read and Style pen. We are introducing accessories such as the carrying case and a charging stand, as well as in-app purchases that will be partnered with the pen so you can change out voices and languages. We also have a plan to slim down the Read and Style pen to hit a lower price point so we can sell it in big box stores everywhere next to TI graphing calculators and Casio graphing calculators. We are currently looking for a seed round investment to help us grow and scale. So if there are any investors in the room, or you guys know any investors that are interested in our work, please don't hesitate to contact us to help us, or to talk more about this opportunity. At the end of the day, Hidden Abilities is about so much more than just the Read and Style pen. We're working to create a future in which people are no longer limited by their differences, but rather are empowered to be the best version of themselves. So please help us build this future. Thank you.
So you've got competitors. Somebody was already in the marketplace. So talk to me about the intellectual property protection. How did you say you got a patent pending? How you protected this?
So the patent itself is covering both the physical configuration of the hardware itself, plus the process and method of real-time reading. So our competitors' products, they scan a line at a time and takes a second to process and then reads the whole thing at once. Ours will read like the 1 or 2 words right behind what you scanned. So that's one of the things that we're patenting.
And what enabled you to move forward with that IP?
Digital Sandbox.
Thank you. On the last slide, one of the last slides, you showed all the different entities, groups that that have helped you move through this path. So how did you get to each of these?
So KU Catalyst, we were actually KU students when we started. So it was 2 years after we took a class that we found out that the University of Kansas actually offered the KU Catalyst, which is a business incubator. We interviewed for that. Digital Sandbox, Casey, we are actually part of the Independence office, or the Innovation Center in Independence, and we applied through Independence Digital Sandbox there. Launched KC, we entered and were part of the 20 finalists that got to pitch in front of 20 judges. Sprint Mentor Network, we couldn't find a decal for it, so I made my own. We just applied. Most of it we found through KC SourceLink.
The Arrow and Indiegogo story is kind of interesting because we originally started to launch a Kickstarter campaign, but we were doing some advertising, getting prepared for that, and Indiegogo reached out to us and said, we think you guys would do really well on our platform. This is going to be a really good thing. Would you consider switching to us? We'll help you form the campaign, look over things, make sure everything's looking really good. And so we did that. They helped us all along the way. And then we found out about the Arrow program, which is a certification that helps make sure that like your technology is actually viable and that it's not just that you can actually make what you're saying you're going to make. So that added a lot of credibility and really helped out with our Indiegogo.
Question was on when you do scan the pen across to read the words. I think you probably already kind of addressed this. Does it go fast? Like if you move the pen fast, will it actually read fast as well, or is it more controlled?
Yeah, it has an accelerometer in it, so we can tell how fast you're scanning and keep up with however fast you're scanning. So if you scan slow, it'll speak slower to you. If you're scanning faster, it'll speak faster. There is a limit. We're not sure exactly where that's at yet, but any normal usage should be just fine.
And with the voices that we did license, we tried to make sure that they didn't break down at high speeds.
Okay. And then on your price point, I did see you were just a little bit higher than your other existing competitors at $369. Is that going to be affordable? And then if you would approach like a school district, would there be some kind of discount or something?
Very likely. If they ask for it, we would definitely offer discounts. We haven't really engaged with them in a way that would be like as a purchase, so we don't know exactly, but if that's something that they would be interested in, we'd likely do that. The way that we arrived at our price point was we talked to customers, both like we had several call us up and talk to us, and at that time we hadn't mentioned a price. So they would always ask, so we throw out a price point, kind of judge their reaction and adjust it accordingly. And so we've sold up to $329 through our Indiegogo and are going to set it at $369, but we're planning to come down depending on exactly what the demand allows.
You can always set high and
Right.
come lower, but it's always harder to go the other way.
Okay. Is that a utility patent pending that you have?
Yes.
Okay.
And we also have a trademark too.
We'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Please raise your hand if you have one. We'll come around with the mic.
Have you estimated the size of the market for this product, and what market share do you think you might be able to get in the long term?
So yeah, it looks like there are about 48 million people in the United States that struggle with dyslexia and about 700 million worldwide. So we've narrowed our market down to people that have dyslexia and are ages 15 to 22 and have a household income of $30,000 or more. And that market looks like it's about 4 million people. So.
Question in the back.
Hi, guys. Back over here. Nice job on your presentation. I'm curious a little bit more about your distribution and your sales strategy. Is it exclusively to try to go through an online retailer, an Amazon, a big box retailer, or is it direct as well, and what does that strategy look like?
Yeah, we have several different routes. We're starting with online sales because it's kind of the low-hanging fruit. We're going to get that set up, and it's a little bit more hands-off once you get it set up. So we're going to do a content marketing strategy and to get people to the website, sign up with their email, and then email marketing. We're also planning to go direct sales to large universities and school districts. That's going to be a little bit later than the online sales. And then there's also trade shows, and there's also in each state there's an assistive technology library, which they purchase a small amount of product and let schools use it, try it out, see if they like it. And if the schools like it, they'll purchase more and use them to, kind of as a grant to fund that purchase.
Question on your left.
Yeah, I was wondering, I have a granddaughter, 10 years old, that has dyslexia or been diagnosed. And I was wondering what the feedback from your end users has been as far as age-appropriate type usage, or for that matter, do they enjoy it, or do they find it complicated? What type of testimony do you have, or if any, from the end user?
So we are actually still in the prototype stage. We have not gotten it exactly into hands yet. Most of our research is based off of our competitors, and then what we've heard our customers don't like about it. And so we are working to create these things. Now, we have talked to a lot of, there's Horizon School has contacted us, and we went and got to tour there. And then There is a center down in Pittsburgh, Kansas that we've talked to, and they say that the reading pins do with what we're wanting to do with it, where you can scan and they're actually seeing the word as they're hearing it instead of scanning it and not really paying attention. It will help to build that phonological connection. So that's one of the things. I lost the question.
But also, during our Indiegogo campaign, we got a lot of tremendous feedback on that. So we've been using the feedback we got there to actually design the product and make sure it's exactly what they wanted. One of the big things is our competing products, both of them, have a touch screen, and you have to navigate menus to get through and actually do the thing that we're trying to do. So ours is really simple. It has one button. You have a single click, double click, and triple click just to do the 3 different things that it can do. So our main thing is it's really simple to use, and anybody can use it.
I have a question on your right.
You mentioned that you have a prototype right now. Can you tell us a little bit in more detail where you're at right now with the tech and then your goals for the next year?
The hardware itself is completely finished. We have 5 prototype boards that we worked with a company in New Jersey to develop. We recently just got those brought up, and it's fully functional, ready to go. The software, it's all complete, but in pieces. All the different functionality is kind of separate right now, so we still need to integrate that and make sure it all works together right. And then after that, it's just finishing out the plastic enclosure design and getting that to fit, and then manufacturing. The next year will be basically doing the manufacturing, starting the sales, and then kind of redeveloping the electronic hardware a little bit. Right now, it's on 2 separate boards because one board was very expensive and the other board was a lot cheaper and simpler. So we developed it on 2 in case there was any changes that needed to be made. But in the long run, it'll be cheaper to do it all on one board. So we need to integrate that, and that should be the major task in the next year.
Question on your left.
Hey guys, great job. Looks like you've done a lot of homework to this point, and you've invested some of your own money to get to this point. Please tell us a little bit more about your own entrepreneurial story, and tell us what you might have done differently.
So, well, when we actually first started, it was more of a wait and see, because the tech that we are using wasn't, because we started 5 years ago. And so it's been a really long journey, and finding our team has been really hard. We've actually been through, there were 2 different teams before we actually locked in the programmer that we do have, as well as our hardware specialist and industrial designer. We've also went through a developer, one prior to, and then we found New Jersey, the developers out of New Jersey. So honestly, it taking 5 years, there's not much I would change because the tech wasn't there yet, and the awareness in the market, it's only growing as we go. So it's just putting us right in that perfect sweet spot.
To kind of elaborate on that, one of the big mistakes that we made earlier was just waiting to find a team. Like we didn't really proactively search it out. So we were going to school at that time at KU, and it did take 3 years to find that team. But also in that, we were working with one person at that time, and we went along for about 9 months, and we didn't really know anything about the technology. So we kind of trusted this person to make sure that he could do everything that he said he would. And 9 months later, turns out we didn't really have anything. So we had to start completely over from scratch. It was a really humbling experience, but we spent that entire summer learning about the technology, and we still can't do it ourselves, but we at least know enough to be able to communicate with the people that are doing it and have oversight over that whole process.
I have a question on your right.
Hi guys, have you thought about your users' preference for audiobooks and if that would be sort of an indirect competitor and how you would deal with that?
Well, with audiobooks, you can't skip around. So if you have to read a paragraph out of a textbook, you're going to have to listen through, and they don't have page markers or places for that. So it's almost like that's exactly why it's not a direct competitor, because an audiobook wouldn't be allowed on a test either. You're not going to have a recording of the test and then have that read to you. So.
And a lot of dyslexic people also like the tactile feedback of having a book in hand, and it makes things a little bit easier for them. They can understand better where they're at and keep everything together, and a lot of things along those lines.
Question down front.
Hey, great idea. Couple of questions. When do you expect to be shipping this product?
Probably within 2 months. I mean, I've been notoriously bad at predicting the exact timeline, but right now it seems to be about probably 6 to 8 weeks away.
So what needs to happen in that time?
We need to find an investment so we can get the inventory, so we can manufacture that. The software needs to be finished, and the plastic enclosure needs to be done.
So really, there's a lot more uncertainty in that 2 months based on the problems you're facing. Yeah. I really like this. I've worked with several people who are dyslexic. I'm in the engineering field, and the problems that I encountered that resulted from their inabilities to correctly deal with numbers is what I'm most familiar with. So I was intrigued by your explanation or hope. I'm not sure if it's already in there to be able to maybe use it on a calculator, perhaps even direct connected to the calculator. What about, so can you elaborate a little bit more on that? And also things like reading numbers off, say, plans and or a computer screen.
So the computer screen, we do not recommend it because there is going to be a sharp point, and some of those screens are easily damaged. So it will, I mean, holding it back from it, it should be able to read it just fine. With numbers, we plan to develop as we go as well. So we're always constantly going to be implementing, and we'll have it to where you can plug it in and update it, because it's a complete computer. I'm trying to.
So also the reading off the computer screen thing, like you said, it probably could do that, but we don't recommend it. But there are also better things to read text off of computer screens too. So I mean, we're not trying to be everything. We're trying to do this one thing really well and let the other products do that.
I've got a question in the back on your left.
I like the idea. How are you going to work with service issues? It seems like so many tech companies, when the end user gets the product, say the student's learning on the weekend with a tutor using this, and it's Saturday night, Sunday night, and they can't get it to work. How will you have service available 7 days a week?
That's a good question. We haven't really dealt with that yet. It's definitely going to be a learning experience, and one thing that we've learned through this whole thing is that we tend to figure things out on the go. So it's probably just going to be one of those things where we try something and it doesn't work. We use that feedback to make it better. So I don't really have a great answer for you at this time, but we'll figure it out.
Just as using like fitness products, I remember several years ago when I got a Fitbit, and I liked it, but I was frustrated with some of the componentry, and every time there was no phone number available to call, and it just drove me nuts. And all you could do is email your question, and then you'd maybe get a response, the next day. And I think that's something, that you'll need to look into to overcome your competition.
Question on your left.
Hi, you mentioned Indiegogo, and I just wondered if you could talk more about that. You got some funding from them. I guess I was looking at that, those types of crowdfunding and trying to figure out which one's best for, entrepreneurial endeavors. So I guess you have to give away some equity for what you got and what, no? Okay. Well, can you just talk more about that and whether you recommend that platform?
Yeah.
So Indiegogo was actually, we sold our pre-sold product through it. And with Indiegogo, it's actually more cause-driven than it is just product and tech-driven like Kickstarter is. One other thing that, with them approaching us, that made us choose Indiegogo was that it was, the market is looking to support a cause more so. I'm trying to think.
Both are kind of similar on like their upside. They take 6% of the funds that you raise as just the platform fee, and there's a 3% fee for the credit card processing. But they don't take any equity. They do have a can't remember the right word for it, but they do have a separate side that does take equity, and you basically use that kind of like a crowdsourced investment, but that's not the route that we took.
We have a question in the back on your left.
Good morning. Nice presentation. You mentioned dyslexia in Horizon Academy. Have you thought about also including auditory processing? Because it's opposite, but yet similar to dyslexia.
Honestly, we've actually had, through the Indiegogo, we've had people with low vision approach us, as well as, we hadn't thought of auditory processing, so thank you for that as well. We've had people with ADHD approach us and say that, you know, the reading is too long or things like that. It doesn't hold my attention. The auditory does, audio does, yeah. And so really, we hadn't thought about that, but thank you for introducing that to us.
Also, like in the very beginning, when we first formed the company, we formed it as the Read and Style LLC because we just wanted to launch the Read and Style pen, and that was kind of the extent of our vision at that time. But we have since changed the name of the company to Hidden Abilities because we want to not only release the Read and Style pen, but add other products as well. We want to start out with dyslexia because that's what we know the best, but we eventually want to broaden our scope and work on other products in different markets.
Question in front.
Hi, I'm very intrigued by this product. I've worked with children with these disabilities for a while. I'm curious as to why 15, because in my experience, by that time they've fallen far behind in school, and I was just curious as why you picked age 15.
Well, to start, we only picked that because we didn't want to step on toes of tutoring and things like that, because when you catch it early, sometimes tutoring will help. And we didn't realize in the very beginning that the reading pens were used at younger ages. So it was more of we wanted to have it as an aid to help with the long nights of reading and things like that.
That's kind of also when the real bulk of the reading starts to come in. Like you get a lot more reading in high school than you do in elementary school, and then even more so in college. So we just kind of drew an arbitrary line somewhere along that line, and that's kind of what we're targeting, not necessarily who we're trying to make it available for, but that's who we're targeting with our marketing efforts.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more question on your, this is right.
I find y'all's entrepreneur journey very inspiring because you just went out and you hustled and you did it and you figured it out one step at a time. You mentioned not having all the answers, let alone not even having all the right questions, but now you're here. You saw a big problem and you imagined something to solve it, and now you are creating a high-tech solution to it. That's so, so, so cool. Do you have any advice for folks out here who want to use tech to solve a big problem that they see in the world? Any lessons that you've learned that you say, hey, don't make this mistake that we made?
Yeah, so like it was mentioned earlier, at least know a little bit about what you're doing. Don't just go in blindly. That's not going to end well. At least be able to have oversight over the process and know when things aren't right, and that'll help out tremendously.
My final question. What can we as a community do for you?
Two things. We are looking for that seed round investment, so any warm introductions would help out tremendously. Also, to get to the second phase of our product and where we'd like to take it, we're going to need some help with miniaturization and mass production. And if there's anybody that can help us give some advice, pointers on anything that could help us reach that end, then that'd be appreciated as well.
Fantastic. Let's give them a big hand, please. It is time for Mug Club. Will you stand up if you've been to 10 1 Million Cups meetings or more? Please stand up. Remain standing if you have not received one of these. Okay, John is going to pick somebody
Good
up.
morning. Please tell us your name and why you come to 1 Million Cups.
I'm Sarah Schumacher. I work on my business is Cyclone Press, and I work with small businesses and entrepreneurs to do branding and logos, design, web print, all of that stuff. And I just love coming here because it's really nice to kind of get out of my work and just see what everybody else is doing. And I'm such a big fan of Kaufman and everything that they do here. So anything you can take advantage of Kansas City, please do it and please come.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I want to introduce a program that we've begun recently called the Caffeinators Program. These are men and women who've given their time and their talent to come here and share with you during the meeting or after the meeting. Will you caffeinators please stand up? Caffeinators.
Welcome to Staffed Up.
Stand up. Put your hand up, please. We got a wonderful young lady in the back corner. Clarissa, there you go. And these are the people that if you have any questions, there's Joe up front. Joe's real loyal. And just go up to them and ask them and they'll direct you. Anything you might need. We're going to go to the next presenter. Oh yeah, Kyle's got an announcement.
All right, good morning. Tomorrow is the first day of February, which means starting tomorrow, it is Black History Month. We are super excited to celebrate Black History Month at 1 Million Cups by having all Black founders on the stage all month long. So we hope you will join us. We hope you will invite our friends. Let's bring more people into the 1 Million Cups community. Also, we are going to wrap up the month on Wednesday, February 28th with an extra special 1 Million Cups in the evening. So there are details on that up on the screen. You can also see them in the announcements. We'll have regular 1 Million Cups presentations and also a Black-owned small business fair. So put that on your calendar, the evening of Wednesday, February 28th. Let's come celebrate Black History Month together. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. All right, our next presenter is Billy Giordano with Staffed Up.
Before we start, I want to make sure it's on.
Cool.
Right. You don't need that. Do I need this? Can everybody hear me? Good, thank you. My name is Billy Giordano, this is JP, and we are Staffed Up, like we mentioned. So just to kind of start real quickly, I feel like we have a very relatable product. From a show of hands, we won't ask any more questions where you have to participate too much. How many people have been in a management position or have had to either employ and or hire someone over the course of their career? Okay, so pretty good audience, entrepreneurial audience. We had a feeling that was probably going to be it. So we are very similar to you that we've been in an entrepreneurial and or management position for collectively over 30 years. We've worked together in food and beverage, hospitality. We are restaurateurs, and in that industry, turnover is incredibly high. So we struggle with finding the right talent at the right time to make sure we've got the best team possible because, as everybody knows, your team is the most important front-facing representative of your business and the quality of the experience that your customers have. So, it's something that we pride ourselves on, hiring the right people at the right time to make sure that your business runs at its best. We basically came up with Staffed Up to solve our own need. Our pain point is very similar to yours. In any industry, hiring is important and it's a struggle. So we created a platform, Staffed Up, to simplify the hiring process, which is right there on our homepage. You can kind of consider it maybe a dating site for applicants and employers. We help employers market and brand their site brand their hiring culture to not only drive great applicant talent, but get that talent into the application process and give them an opportunity to really engage with these people in real time, qualify, network with, and hire the best talent when they need them. So it's a very simple, integrated web and social platform that just expedites the hiring process on both sides and is very valuable for the applicant, even more valuable for the employer. As far as the way the market is hiring right now, there's really not a lot for our industry that's specific to it. So there are definitely HR firms out there, HR tools, a lot of platforms that are very robust but also very expensive. And so for an employer like ourselves, we found that there wasn't something that was directed and suited specifically to us in an affordable platform that was doing what we needed it to do. So we created something that integrates directly with our customers' web and social presence. Anything online is completely 100% integratable to not only drive the traffic you need, but we help you and teach you how to market to the talent and get the right people where you need them. So, you know, people have probably in the room used job boards. There's big things like Indeed, Snagajob, ZipRecruiter. The difference between us and them is where you can go on our site and you can find, you know, job board, or you can go on our site like a job board and search for talent in your area. We really focus on helping you advertise and market your brand to drive the right people who are already actively engaged in your business, who are paying attention, patrons, people who are in the area directly, and who are already following you. So as far as really what our focus is, it's quality over quantity. A lot of these big job boards are offering the opportunity to get hundreds of applications, but most people will pay a ton of money, get the applications in, and have to manually sift through it. The difference between us and them is that not only are we a lot more affordable, but we're a permanent hiring solution. So we don't focus on the desperation hire where you pay us a bunch of money to try to find talent last minute. We help you build a qualified database consistently 24/7, 365, so that when you're ready to hire, you've got people at your fingertips. A couple of clicks to invite to interviews. You can invite up to, I mean, there is no limit. It's completely unlimited, as many applicants, as many interviews, as many interactions as you need to find the right people with just a few clicks to interact with these people, let them get into your process and help you basically manage and evaluate them appropriately. So we really like the Q&A portion of this stuff, so we're not going to waste a ton of time talking about what we do. I think it'll evolve as we go. We do have a 2-minute video, and we've got about 2 minutes to go, so we're going to show you the platform so you have a little bit better idea of what it is. Again, it's me talking, so don't get sick of it yet. But we'll play this for you, and then we'll go into the Q&A. Welcome to Staffed Up. We're here to make your life better by helping you hire the best talent, smarter and faster. Getting started is simple. Sign up for free, and on your first login, follow our simple tutorial to set up your account and start creating positions and qualifying questions for your company. You can customize your application by creating custom questions or use our great list of pre-drafted questions for all or specific positions, and make sure you're asking the right questions to get the best talent. You can even set questions as pre-qualifiers, saving time by filtering applicants who don't meet your minimum criteria, and let the system automatically and professionally respond for you. Once set up, it's time to leverage your web and social presence to drive great applicant traffic who are already interested in and paying attention to your brand. It's important to add Staffed Up to your website and social media so it's easy for applicants to find and review your job information and apply from any device. We also encourage you to take advantage of our discounted Vistaprint print collateral like business cards, table tents, and door clings to help you advertise to your already loyal patrons 24/7 that you're building your team. Once applicants start rolling in, easily navigate through applicants by position, by application status, or individually using the very easy-to-use search function. Pull up any applicant in seconds and review full resume information. Evaluate custom question answers, work history, references and education, and professionally qualify and respond with just a few clicks. When it's time to interview, it couldn't be easier. Set up direct interviews or invite groups of applicants to sign up for interview blocks and manage all interviews through the custom calendar. Compete for talent in real time and connect with applicants directly with text and email notifications, and have full accountability for all interactions with time-stamped and dated messaging. The Staffed Up team is comprised of hospitality professionals solving hospitality problems. We're continually developing awesome new features daily, and we're excited to keep growing so you can keep doing what you do better. Sign up for free, utilize the tools, and we promise you won't want to run your business without Staffed Up ever again. So we can talk a little bit more about our price point and why we priced ourselves in the market the way that we have. But really the idea is just a very smooth, friendly, integratable opportunity for job seekers and applicants to get into the system, apply and find the jobs they're looking for. Our applicants absolutely love using it. We've got testimonials from applicants that have, gone to other job sites as many times as possible and used them all, and found jobs with Staffed Up because it's so easy to actually use it to find work and really get into the process from anywhere. So we'll open it up to Q&A. Thank you.
All right, let's.
So is this full-time, part-time positions, any position at all in the, it
So
looks like you're focusing on kind of the restaurant side of hospitality, right?
Sure. So it is definitely 100% white label. So the idea is that this is applicable for any industry. Right now, because it's the industry we know, we've been focusing for about the past year building this, testing it in the hospitality restaurant, food and beverage, customer service industries. But we've also networked a lot and found that there are industries that need us just as badly. So we built this so that it can accommodate anyone, full-time, part-time, single event. It's, again, when you create an account with Staffed Up, it's not about us, it's about you, and we brand everything about you and help you drive talent through your networks along with ours so that it's not, you have to go to Staffed Up to find your job.
And talk to me about the price points, the revenue model,
Sure. Business model itself is low barrier to entry and a very affordable cost. So we want to make sure that we're not trying to create a million bells and whistles that people aren't using and charging them for it. So we're only $29 a month per location right now. Very affordable for a lot of small to mid-sized businesses, but there are large corporations that are interested in platforms like this that actually work. So we've got different tiers that offer different HR value, digital onboarding and employee management and things like that. We are going to basically, as a business model, onboard clients and continually grow our networks, and as we grow, be able to sell higher priced and more evolved features to them, so we can basically leverage the current model and current brand that current market that we have to not only get more clients, but get more revenue out of each client as we grow with more tools and services that are valuable to them.
And it's free to the job seeker side?
100%.
And then do you do anything beyond, if I'm filling out a profile, build my profile, will you do background check? Will you do any of that for the employer, or you just, here's your applicants, you take it, your hiring process?
It's definitely up to the employer to evaluate, so they can, like we showed you, add their questions and basically customize it based on their values and what they want in their business. We are going to start partnering with third-party integrations. There may be an individual here, I don't know if Carrie here, who does some background check stuff. We've networked with them, and our goal is to integrate through an API and basically have them as a third-party service. It'll be a higher level tiered offering.
And then when did you launch? I mean, you've got the product in the market now, right?
Yeah, we've got about 100 paying customers right now. We launched, and much like the presenters before us, development has been an issue. And with the team that we started with, we anticipated a launch a long time ago. We went to, what was it?
2015?
Yeah, 2015, we were in, no, it was 2016. 2016, March, went to Chicago to pre-sale because we had a great following and a good market there and an opportunity. Our developers told us we'd be able to launch our MVP. We did awesome in Chicago. We had so many people sign up and ready to go with us, but our product didn't launch until late November of the same year, and we didn't really get everything we needed out of it. So we took a step back in 2017, really focused on fine-tuning the software, making it 100% mobile fluid and really easy to use. And just got it to a place that we are really happy with and comfortable with, and now we can still sell while we grow as opposed to selling and then making a bunch of apologies because we weren't ready.
Yeah, that's called software development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're new to that.
We're hoping when we go back to Chicago, they forgot about us and they'll be excited about us all over again. So.
All
Are any national hotels signed up with you guys?
Right now, Best Western is somebody that we networked with in Chicago at the Missouri Restaurant Association. We've been basically pitching to their North American teams for the past 3 or 4 months. We do a screen share and talk with all of them. So we've had about a dozen Best Western sign up with us. And the goal is they've got 2,500 stores across all of North America. We want to replace, they're actively seeking for a better solution, and we're working for their current hotels. So our goal is to, in development, our next step is to create a corporate structure that accommodates larger individuals like that, allowing the freedom of individual restaurants and hotels and other markets, which we can talk about, to have the flexibility of creating their own branding process and hiring process, but still have the corporate management and perspective.
And does it work both ways? Like if I'm a job seeker just looking to make some weekend money, can I go online and say I'm looking for an event? Does it work that way, or is it just employer-driven, where somebody's...
So you can go to Staffed Up 100% and search for jobs. So if we were to click job search on our homepage, it'll take your IP address and find, based on jobs in your area, you can search for the positions and the different opportunities that are around you. But you would also be able to actively seek for, server, bartender, particular location, things like that. We've got a lot of companies, like we've got an event company that works with us that just does single events. So she floods her database with single event opportunities, and when she's ready, she just hits those people with a quick message. They get a text and an email letting them know that Events by Cat is looking for help this weekend, and she gets in the mix.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and open it up to audience questions. Go ahead and get your hands in the air. I'm going to start it off in the center.
Hi, congratulations. So you are actually live and running, right?
Correct.
So in your introduction, you mentioned that you're restaurateurs. And how did you gain the IT cred to do all this?
I actually found a team through Startup Week in Columbia, 2015. We ended up winning that. From there, we kind of took that team and continued to work with those developers. As we evolved, we brought on more team members, and we still have one that's been with us essentially from Startup Week in 2015 that's been extremely dedicated, and then we have 2 more developers from there. So we don't really claim to be...
We're not that tech savvy,
Yeah,
but
we've
learned a lot over the past couple of years. We can at least hold our own in conversation. But I mean, development, we're simply conceptual business. Our development team does all the work, and we kind of wish we had our platform to hire our developers when we needed development. So we used Upwork to find someone in New Jersey who is a rock star and part of our team, has equity in the team, and is a great asset. And then we've continually kind of leveraged the great people that network with other great developers to continue to build. And right now, we're in the process. We're pitching in St. Louis for a couple of different investments. We're raising our next round to grow our team even more, expedite the development, and be able to onboard these larger clients.
So you said next round, so you already have outside investors?
Bootstrapped, and then we were funded by the Missouri Innovation Center in Columbia. So they picked us up and gave us a small investment, and so that's really where we're at now. We're looking for basically an angel round.
All right, so my final question, you hadn't mentioned this all along until you were talking to the panelists, and you talked about this really being a white label product, and again, you alluded to being able to hire IT developers using your app. So are you actually marketing it as a white label product as well?
Not necessarily yet. Our goal over the next couple of months is to take the homepage, rebrand it, and market the individual industries that we are going to be dedicated to and targeting. So there's 2 sides of it. Obviously, it's white label, and we want to go out and get the entire world, but we know staying focused is important. So we're going to grow each individual market respectively. We went to a tech conference in St. Louis and met a young lady with Rozzi Learning Center, and she told me that elementary and pre-elementary education struggles to hire a lot, and they don't really have a great service that's affordable. They don't have large budgets, so we'd be perfect. So we've actually already onboarded a couple of pre-K and different educations. She's using the product as well. Companies that are kind of testing it, giving us feedback. We've had a couple of tweaks that are necessary for them to really get what they need out of it. They're already on our development schedule, and so we will progressively evolve into different markets, but we don't want to just say, hey, everybody come get us. We want to really kind of hone in on a few things, build those databases, because once we build a qualified talent pool in a geographical area, we can begin selling that talent pool back to employers that are signing up with us that need people right away.
So final comment, I really liked your video. If it really runs 2 minutes, I didn't time it. It's a great way of explaining what you do. And in future presentations, you might want to consider leading off with it.
Okay.
Another question in the center.
Nice presentation. I noticed in your video that you mentioned that you have 45% less turnover. Are you monitoring the positions after they've been filled?
Yeah, so basically we can see every single applicant that comes through and kind of monitor exactly how long they're in a position. And so based on industry standards, that's where we get that number. So the people who are using our stuff, we have back-end analytics that are right now are pretty raw. We want to incorporate machine learning and kind of understand the real data that's happening on our site and be able to use that to monetize and also help our clients and give them more value. So,
Question back here by the coffee.
Hey guys, nice presentation. This is obviously a very crowded market. I see one of the differentiators is your price, which is dramatically more reasonable than a lot of the solutions out there. As far as you're talking about having these questions for candidates, and that's sort of weeding out the candidate flow, which sometimes can be overwhelming as an employer. Is anyone else doing something similar to that, or is everyone just doing their keyword searches and those types of activities?
To be honest with you, most of our competitors are not as customizable as us. They don't integrate directly with their systems. Now, there are people that do what we do, but their price is substantially higher. So, you know, we've got a graph in one of our presentations. We didn't want to put too much up on the screen because it distracts from the interaction and conversation. So, in some of our presentations, we've got a slide based on the market where there's, you know, things all along the bottom and all along the top based on the value and the service that they provide and the price. We're literally hanging out by ourselves because we haven't found anybody. And we also have a marketing material piece that we're happy to forward on that shows 12 different platforms that say they do what we do, or at least have the same goal as us to help people hire. Our price point and service feature list is full compared to what they're offering. It's just not the same thing. Now they can market to millions and millions of people, but these millions of people are not actively seeking positions in your area and actively interested in your brand. So really we set ourselves apart by going the natural organic route. We're starting from where it should be, engaging with real talent as opposed to just market everything and everywhere and hope for the best and have to sift through a giant mess to find, you know, a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, I would say if this thing does everything that it looks like you say it does and on the slides, that $29 a month is way too cheap. For the customization, I assume you built it so if I go in and can customize the questions and the profiles and so on.
Absolutely.
And then if you're doing any of the back end work, it's $360 a year. That's probably one position open for a few weeks in my restaurant or bar. To me, I mean, there may be a reason that you're out here for $29 doing all this, and everybody else that does things similar is up there.
Sure.
So,
Well, like he said, in being in the industry for about 30 years combined, we were bar guys with the tech idea as opposed to tech guys with the bar idea. So we understand that sitting in front of, having people sell to you day in and day out, when you come in with a larger number, it immediately shuts off that line of communication. So for us, you know, it was helping us initially build this market. We wanted to be able to, because we knew that there was competition out there, be able to be affordable, be able to get into these single locations as well as the multi-locations, and continue to evolve with our expansions of our new features and stuff and develop. So there is higher price points down the line, but become the standard initially, so then people earn our, you know, we earn our credibility with them and continue to grow with us.
yeah, when you mentioned jumping into corporations and not only share, we had another sandbox company that did software that was geared at, you mentioned wanting to get into corporations, so the larger ones, the chains, right?
Yes.
Their price point was something similar, $19 a desk, whoever uses it. And as we helped them, the people who made the decisions at the corporate level, so if you come in and tell me it's $19 a person, I don't think it does anything real great. But I'm used to buying software at $15,000 and 10% a year in annual maintenance fee. And when they took their pricing from $19 to about $2,500 and saw those people, they would get the meetings, get the corporations, and have signed some of the larger folks. So as you move up the chain, it sounds like an app type price to me, but if I've got 100 restaurants scattered across the city or across the country, you know, $29 a month is going to feel like that's not going to do much for me. So you're going to run into that as you move up the chain.
So with this particular industry and different industries, like you mentioned, that's definitely a consideration. But for this specifically, so everyone's familiar with Emo's Pizza. They're a client of ours. We've got only 4 stores working, but they love it. We're onboarding on tomorrow?
Today.
Thursday. Thursday. 4 more stores. And we've already sat with corporate to basically bring on the entire, over the next quarter, the entire 110 store operation. So we have to focus on understanding that we're still selling to individual stores while we're selling to corporate as well. So the concept, we sell to corporate, and the price point obviously as a whole, if you're looking at, you know, everybody using us even at a discount, it's somewhere in the range of $3,000 a month for them to use all of what we offer. So really the idea is, again, low barrier to entry. We're learning as we go. We've been told we're lower than we should be, but at the same time, there's definitely been pushback on not wanting to spend a dime on hiring because I can do it with paper and email, and okay, well, how's that working for you? Or when you really need someone and you just spent $400 on Indeed last month, how did that work for you? So we really do kind of hit a nerve with these people and realize, hey, there's an affordable opportunity out there, and then as we're developing more software and more features and gain credibility, like JP mentioned, we're going to be able to market to them and upgrade them to different opportunities and just kind of grow the business. And we really want to grow the talent pool. There's a lot of value in that too. So getting these people to use us and start, I mean, we've got almost 8,000 applicants that are using the site actively right now, and we're continually growing every day, somewhere in the range of 25, 30, sometimes 40 applicants sign up for our service a day. So, you know, it's definitely a learning process, 100%.
Sounds like you have 2 business models, one targeted to like the maybe 1 to 10 employers who may need you versus an enterprise solution. Is that fair?
In a sense,
and
the
do you
same
have your
thing.
enterprise solution, which is what I guess Jeff is asking?
It's not evolved, it's not developed yet.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's applicable to any individual store, and an enterprise could use it if everyone wanted to sign up, but what we want is one blanket opportunity for Best Western to have an account and then distribute it to the individuals that need it, that are going to use it and kind of have opportunities to, again, represent the whole brand, but still be focused on the one individual store, because you can't just say all of Best Western is hiring and expect to get talent in every single location.
Question here in the back.
Hello, thank you for sharing your idea with us. Really appreciate it. Just wanted to ask, you talked a little bit about struggles with developers. Could you share your advice with us on how you go about qualifying your developers to keep your platform moving forward, and then also how you work to hit your target dates? I mean, keeping things moving forward can be a challenge.
To hit the target dates, I can tell you that we don't. So there's that. We're very optimistic typically about target dates. I mean, we've learned a lot as far as the developers go. Initially, you know, like we said with the Startup Weekend guys, they worked with us for the 48 hours or whatever it was to get going. I think that there was maybe some naiveness on our end. We were a little naive as to how quick things could move and what we could do. We've learned a lot through the process, and I guess we haven't really had to bring anybody new onto the team in the last year or so, year and a half. So it was more after kind of being in the space for a little bit and doing our research and stuff, we were able to kind of vet people a little bit better. As Billy said, we used Upwork, which is kind of a platform that has ratings, reviews, and stuff like that. You can kind of find people through that way.
One thing we're doing right now is we're interviewing. We've interviewed 10 different teams for our next team. We don't have the money yet, but we know that we're going to need them. So we aren't saying, hey, this guy's awesome, great interview, says he can do all this, let's do it. We definitely were preemptive in believing people's, you know, basically lies to us in a sense that they were able to accommodate the quality of work in a time frame that we expected it. So now we're actively engaging and learning and networking and asking as many questions as possible, and you just do your research. There's no one way, unless someone here can tell me that I'm wrong, there's no one way to find the best developer. You just have to kind of pitch them your concept and really try to instill your culture, what you guys do, how you interact, what you expect, because we're not development guys, and we've found opportunities to piss developers off because we didn't understand the way that they worked and how things go. We were very driven and motivated, and we want things done now. That's not development, and we've learned patience and you know, how to make sure we get the most out of our team without pushing them too far. So.
All right, final question. What can we as a community do to help you?
We like networking. These things are awesome for us. We just like talking to people. Our network right now is why we got started and is how we've kind of evolved naturally. So if you have suggestions for us, if you have people that you think would be a good fit for the platform just to try it out, if you just wanted to talk about where we're going and what we're doing and anything, honestly, our cards, and there's more collateral in the back and some bags. We're happy to sit around and talk with you guys as long as you want today. But network with us and you know, spread the word. If someone's saying, hey, I need help hiring, we are evolving into different markets. We've got plumbers using us right now, so laborers are going to be an option for us. It's really just engage with us, and we love learning from your experiences.
All right, thank you both very much. I saw lots of raised hands, so I know there's a lot of networking about to happen. These guys are going to hang out, as are the Hidden Ability folks, so please continue to hang out. We hope to see you next week for our first Black History Month presentation with Margaret's Place and Popcorn Heaven. See you then, guys. Thank you.